One of the darker truths behind the rush to develop the American West was that the promise of gold often came at a human cost. Greed, ambition, and exploitation left their mark in towns that rose from dust and eventually returned to it. Henson, Colorado was one of those places, and today it stands as a powerful reminder of all that was gained and all that was lost. Welcome to another episode of Ghost Towns and More. Long ago and deep in the San Juan Mountains of southwestern Colorado lay a treasure trove of minerals waiting to be unearthed. But long before the first prospectors arrived in the 1800s, these wilderness ranges were sacred land to the Ute people. When Americans discovered ore-rich veins in the Rocky foothills, the Ute were forced to leave, stripped of rights, home, and history. In 1871, 3 prospectors struck pay dirt near what is now Lake City. They staked their claim 4 miles west along a rough creek bed and named their new mine the Ute Ulay, a merge of the tribe's name and that of their leader, Chief Ouray, pronounced Ulay by the locals. A town quickly took shape nearby along the waterway, named after early settler Henry Henson. The creek became the lifeblood of the community, supplying water, power, and a name that would endure through time. Within just a few years, Henson was buzzing. Saloons clinked with glasses, children filled a schoolhouse, and general stores supplied hundreds of miners who came seeking fortune. More than 300 residents called it home. But gold isn't easy to get out of a mountain. The mine's founders lacked the capital to expand operations or ship ore to distant smelters, so they sold the claim to a London-based company with deep pockets and high hopes. By 1878, Henson was firmly on the map. The Ute Ulay mine dominated the economy, and with plans for a dam to power operations, things looked bright. But the winter of 1884 changed that. Henson Creek froze solid, shutting down the hydro system. The lights went out, the mine went silent, and the company folded. The post office closed its doors, and the future of the town looked bleak. A new investor took a chance on Henson in 1887, pouring funds into equipment and personnel. But without a railroad, the costs kept mounting, and they too fell into default. Then in 1890, the railroad finally reached Lake City, 4 miles away, and everything changed. A new company took the helm, building a massive 118-foot dam on the creek to supply reliable power to the mine and town. Production resumed, and Henson began to boom once again. The post office reopened, and hope returned. But history isn't always kind. In 1893, the demonetization of silver struck a devastating blow to silver towns across the West. Many mines shut down overnight. Henson survived, barely, because of its diverse mineral output, including gold, lead, and zinc. To keep profits marginally alive, mining companies brought in immigrant workers to labor under brutal conditions. The largest group were Italian miners who settled in a section of town they called Little Rome. These workers faced appalling conditions. Single men were crammed into overpriced, filthy boarding houses. company bosses cared little for safety or sanitation. Profits were everything. Lives were expendable. By 1899, tensions exploded. About 100 miners, mostly Italian, went on strike, shutting down mine entrances at gunpoint. A standoff ensued. The local sheriff called on the governor, and the state militia arrived. After 2 days of mounting pressure, the strike collapsed. No demands were met, the workers lost their jobs, and the mining companies tightened their grip. Despite moments of renewal, Henson's days were numbered. The Ute Ule mine had generated over $12 million worth of minerals in its prime, but by 1913, the post office closed for good. The railroad, once a symbol of hope, pulled its tracks in the 1930s. Mining resurged briefly during World War II, then fell silent forever. Disaster struck again in 1973 when the old dam on Henson Creek gave way. Toxic mining waste flooded the creek, killing fish and polluting the valley. In 2009, the site underwent a reclamation project, and Henson was officially listed on the National Register of Historic Places, preserving its ghostly charm for future generations. Today, it stands as one of the best preserved historic mining communities in the Rocky Mountains. During the warm months, you can drive right up to Henson and explore a self-guided tour through the remains of the town. Walking paths wind through weathered buildings, rusted equipment, and the still visible cave-in of the once mighty dam. Nestled in one of Colorado's most scenic valleys, Henson is more than just a collection of ruins. It's a monument to ambition, struggle, and the hard realities of life on the edge of civilization. And it's surrounded by other ghost towns and historic sites that make this region a treasure trove for explorers and history buffs alike. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Ghost Towns and More.